just leave the steering wheel to the person that can steer it. Mambo ya kusema kwamba ati when you want to dialogue, you have to make leaders, you have to bring leaders, you have to. It is not necessary. Kenyans are not asking for position of leadership. We already do our election, we have leaders. What we are telling you is to do your work, do your job. Why should we need a Gen Z leader to go and do what? To go and sit where? So, Gen Z leader ambao sasa ata-occupy office gani? Not unless you create a vacancy in that your office, because what Gen Z and millennials are asking, it is a national issues that can only be addressed by the head of state. And if he's not capable of addressing, we still insisting that you must quit and leave other people that they are capable, they have willingness to address the issues. So today, what Ruto shows us a middle finger. Kwamba when we are telling him that it is not enough, you have never do anything. Anakuja kutuletea mapolisi using our taxpayers' money to kill and maim us. That is showing us middle finger. So that is my take. I'm sure Kenyans will not rest. For the few individuals ambao wamekuja wanadanganywa ati kwamba tumewapatia CS. Ukienda coast tuseme umepatia CS Joe. What will Joe address? That one ministry can never address the issues Coastarians are raising. The issue of unemployment, the issue of injustices, the issue of corruption. People are being rendered landless because of corruption. They cannot acquire their title deeds. So, by what to do, this over-excitement with time, just 1 month, it will succeed and everybody will come back to the senses. And we will still go and ask the same questions. Thank you.
Fabish.
Yes.
For the last 6 weeks, do we think the Gen Zs have achieved anything? And if yes, what's the way forward? For, as you have seen today, umeona hii maandamano tulikuwa tumepanga vizuri, kangangana. Some of us have put on a lot of effort through finances, through public participation, but unaona venye kumekuwa. What do you think we can do so that this thing, because we need this thing to become successful, what do you think we need to put more effort so that we can as you said, we need to bring Ruto on board? What do you think we can do more so that we can achieve this? Maybe you have some views we can, if we bring them together, to achieve this thing. What do you think we can do? Because we haven't done anything today as we had expected.
Thank you so much. First, you ask a very pertinent question. What have we achieved for the 6 weeks that we have been on the street? I can for surely tell you that we have achieved a lot. Number one, it has helped us identify where there is a problem. We have identified now that the problem is in the political class because of what Raila did. That is one. Number two, it has even made a lot of people, to forgive themselves. Those who elected UDA, Kenya Kwanza, now they can forgive themselves. Wajua kwamba, actually they were not, they did not do any mistake. Because if they were given opportunity to go for the letter, it was not better. So these 6 weeks first, it has helped to identify the problem of Kenya. That one, our problem are the political elites, the political class that have hijacked this country. Now, what should we do better? What we need now to do better is actually to go back to the grassroots. We should continue educating and doing proper civic education. Let everyone understand, because what we see now that we are still lacking is that we still have a lot of masses that don't have proper information on how a good governance is of beneficial to the country. We need to do civic education to educate our people, to steer away from the, these political or partisan, tribal lines and all that. We should make people understand that it is not because, wale watu wanasema ati ni mtu wetu ako pale. It is not just a matter of ni mtu wetu, but what are you achieving as an individual, as an household? Are you getting a proper education for your children or for yourself? Are you getting better medication? Are you having an equal opportunity like any other person, that when you complete your studies, you can be guaranteed to get to work and a proper work without someone fast tracking for you, without connections, without bribing? Are we going to make sure that we have a nation that our security is guaranteed, that you can walk everywhere, that you can have a free speech without any repercussion? So what we need now to continue is to do civic education, and we should not deviate from that point of our demands, that we are still demanding for a better governance. But now we should continue educating our older generation in the societies, people who have already given up, because even once. That is why they went to opposition, so that they can like pile pressure on us so that we can give up. Now to say, okay, wacha tukae tugoje 2027. If we are waiting for 2027, nothing will happen. They are the ones that have machineries. They are the ones that are controlling on how we are going to vote. They are the ones that they will be doing procurement. They are the ones that have the system. So we will not achieve anything as long as this political class is still controlling this country. This is what we are fighting for now, is emancipation. We have first to emancipate these people that they have hijacked our country, so that now we can be able to do other discussion and have a better governance. Hawa watu hatuwezi kusaidika kwa kura. That is a daydream. That is a daydream. Hata tukatengeza political formation ya kiasi gani. They are the ones that have the system. So what we are saying is we need a overhaul of the system. We need to change the system and bring a new system ambayo ina fit for this generation. So,
unaona ikiwezekana kweli?
To answer your question,
unaona ikiwezekana?
Inawezekana. What we just need is proper civic education. Unajua, for very long time sisi tumeachia maisha yetu our political class. Wao ndio wana address issues zetu. Unapata hata siku za nyuma zilikuwa kukiwa na jambo tunasema waacha Raila aulize, waacha Raila atuambie. Ulikuwa unapata hata watu wanaenda maandamano hata wajui kwamba wanaandamana sababu ya nini, because just Raila amesema tuandamane. But now the narrative have changed. Watu ambao wako kwa street, they are not expecting any penny, they are not being funded, but wanajipigania. Hiyo tayari ni kuonyesha kwamba inawezekana. Now we are not on the street kupigania mtu. So sasa Raila amekuja vizuri na ametuonyesha sasa kwamba problem is not only Ruto, problem is the whole political class that we have. We need to do the overall. Inawezekana. Ile kitu iko ni kuwa bado tunahitaji kufanya proper civic education from the grassroots. Watu wajue, watu wa Eldoret wajue kwamba si sababu kwamba ni mtu wetu ako pale. Mtu wetu ako pale lakini anafanya mess. Hakuna school fees ya mtu wenu ambao utaenda kulipa. Mtu wenu hana university zake ambao mtasema ati tutapeleka hapa, si tutalipa less sababu ni mtu wetu ako pale. Even the employment ambao unaona kwamba anasema Ruto is being accused of tribalism. Yes, ameweka kweli, many people of these tribes, but even those people, you have to be connected. Not every Kalenjin will just walk with his CV to the office and get a job. You have to have connection. You have to know someone. You have to be connected with Sudi. You have to be connected with Farouk Kibet. You have to be connected with maybe Boshole. You have to be connected with Kosgei in State House before you get those employment. So this is civic education that is needed to those people. kuambia kwamba usione jina Kibet iko pale, usione jina Ruto iko pale, ukafikiria tu kwamba it is working the back for you, sababu you share the same name. No, bado kuna unyanyasaji. So inawezekana. What we need now is to continue discussing in these spaces, discussing in our WhatsApp groups, twende mashinani, tuzidi kuwapatia watu civic education. Lakini ikiwa tutakaa tu tuseme ati tunangojea kura, ikiwa saizi kupata IDs ni shida. And this is how they are going to make sure that they are turning round. Inafika hata hiyo wakati utapata karibu maybe 15% of our society hawana IDs. How are they going to vote? Bado tujiongea vote manipulation. So lazima to deal with system. It is not easy thing to do, but that is the only option that we have to do. We have to face reality. There is no other way out. There is no other way out. After even after tukimpatia ujamaa 10 years, after 10 years, they're going to regroup themselves, watakuja with another one, and it will not be better. We have been crying since hata Kibaki, because they are the same people. Not unless we uproot them. It is not comfortable thing for us to do. It is not easy for us to do, but that is the only thing that we can do. That is the only option. We don't have any other way out. So we must brace ourselves and continue pressing. Our grandfathers who worked for independence, they did not achieve it in 6 months. They did not achieve it in 1 year. They fought for about 15 years. So even us, we were not expecting that we could have just achieved, people who have been in the system for 60 years, that we are going to achieve for 1 week, or for 1 day, or for 2 months. It will take a lot of strategies, a lot of planning, a lot of knowledge, a lot of energy before we achieve it. Thank you.
A question. I want you to tell us in point blank, what is the problem or the crime of the political elite? In specifically, I want you to talk in terms of Raila Odinga, whom you talked much about. What is his problem? The highlight maybe with the constitution or any legal document that you have.
Can you take just 2 minutes, because we have George and Odero who wants to speak as well? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll be very short. The problem that we have, as I put it on earlier, is that our country has been hijacked by the political elites. There is no difference between William Ruto. There is no difference between Raila Odinga. I give you just one example. Do you know, out of the tax that we are paying, 3%, that is the minimum, is given to the political parties. You need to go and look at that in the Constitution, and in the Political Parties Act. They are receiving a lot of money. And that is why you see in Kenya, we have more than 50 political parties. Even those that they come together, they form a coalition, they cannot agree, to form one political party, because everyone
how this is a problem to Odinga? How is it a problem to Odinga to get that 3%? Now,
you ask what is the problem of Odinga. The problem of Odinga is that he's very selfish when it comes, he put his own selfish interest first before the interest of our nation. And we have seen the pattern for a very long time. And now it has come to manifest very clearly the action that he did recently. That he had been pushing, he was the one that he came out immediately after election and told us that Zakayo must go. In fact, the name Zakayo, he was the one that christened him. But all of a sudden, Zakayo became a very pure person in his thinking. Because what? Because he had achieved his selfish ego. We saw even last time.
Why can't you take him to the court to check about that selfishness? Because some of these issues that we are talking about, they don't have legal grounds. I have heard you quoting the Constitution exactly that 3% is given to the opposition. You are blaming Odinga. I have heard you saying Odinga is a chameleon, but when he was against Ruto, you did not complain. Now he is supporting Ruto, you are complaining. So I think let's put points clear here, because we are talking about things which is going to affect the future generation. We want to know the problem of the political elite. They have killed people. They have stolen money. I want to know in connection to Raila Odinga, because being a political chameleon is constitutional.
Listen, George. Now, when we are talking of a constitution, the reason why we are on the street, it is because the actors that they need to help us implement this constitution are mutilating it. They are raping it, including Raila Odinga himself. Even when we talk of corruption, Raila Odinga have been in the forefront of sanitizing the corrupt. I give you an example. Oparanya, that he just gave out to be a CS. EACC found him to be guilty, and they are proposing for him to be taken to court. But Raila has come for his side to protect him. So what we are saying, we don't have a political will, you know.
But there is a problem. Oparanya, if he has not been convicted, found guilty, there is nothing which has happened. Because you see, tomorrow these things can turn even against you. They will tell that someone is corrupt when he is given a position. But prove it. Was he arrested? Was he taken to court?
Listen.
We want evidence, not to talk about anything. Tell us that Oparanya stole this. There is a conviction. There is a docket which was taken. To give us evidence. So far, you have not told me what the problem of Odinga and the problem of Oparanya. Give us evidence.
The evidence is this: there are institutions in this country that they are mandated to do a certain work. One of the institution is the EACC, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. It is not me that is accusing Oparanya. It is the institution that is paid by the taxpayers' money, those offices, that they came out and they say we have a case against Oparanya. It is in the public domain, and the commission is proposing. So how can you say that it is not just that we are just talking like rumors? These are the institutions that has bestowed for the work of dealing with corruption, and they have come out clearly. They did not mention other names. They mentioned Oparanya.
Fabish, Oparanya was very well cleared by EACC, and Oparanya himself on the national camera akasema hajawahi andikisha any statement, hajawahi itu andike any statement on
any
misinformation.
EACC haijaclear, ile kitu ile clear ni ODPP, Office of the ODPP. Now, Office of the ODPP is not there to investigate corruption crime.
The commissioner ya kuvet ministers inaandikianga EACC iwapatie guidance ya any appointed member, because they don't apply for those oppositions.
You need to get your facts right.
They are appointed by the president.
Yes.
They are appointed by the president who run the ministries. Before the commission, if any interview for any member, they write to EACC to verify that person. Is he eligible to be interviewed for that? And they wrote to EACC wakasema Oparanya ako very clear. Hana any issue.
No.
Unless from where I'm seated, ukona any evidence ya kuonyesha kwamba Oparanya akona kesi ya kujibu kwa EACC.
Yes. Now listen. It is not.
And remember, this minute as we are talking, Oparanya has been sworn in.
Yes.
Akue CAS.
Tommy, I want you guys to continue with your conversation. I didn't want to interfere with you, but you need to do your research. Of course, Oparanya is still under investigation. EACC has made it very clear. Now, there's a disconnect between DPP and EACC offices. Yes, but it doesn't mean that he's been cleared. No, he's still under investigation, Tommy. But kindly just do that research before arguing.
Miriam, welcome. I heard this is your space. Karibu sana. We have been waiting for you to endelea space. Karibu sana.
So Tommy, as Miriam put, ndio nilikuwa nakwambia, that is what even is bringing the rage, because Oparanya, in fact, it is even the EACC itself that they wrote to the Parliament Commission on Vetting and say that we do not approve this nominee because he have a case with us. What did Sholay said? Sholay said that EACC don't have power to approve a nominee. When the Constitution mandates. In fact, everybody that is looking for a public work, unaitishwa good conduct from the DCI, unaitishwa KRA clearance, unaitishwa a certificate from the EACC. And now here is a constitutional lawyer like Sholei, who is a right person of William Ruto, telling us that EACC don't have power. So these are the things that we are telling you, that these leaders, these actors, they don't have spirit. They don't have the will to implement this constitution. That is the rate that we are talking, and that is what is making us say that this regime, this political class, they cannot help this country, because even if we come with constitution that is made from heaven, we still need a good actors that they will help us implement and interpret it the way it should be. So that's what we are saying. Even election cannot solve our problem.
Fabish, I do have a quick question, even as you're proceeding, and I don't know whether Odera has spoken, but I've been wondering, what do you think is stopping this? We have star lawyers in Kenya and the Law Society of Kenya, and what is stopping them from? What is stopping them from filing this in court? I mean, we've seen that these guys are disregarding the constitution. We don't even know legally whether EACC is allowed to stop this vetting of a candidate who has a case or not. I don't know. It's such a very funny issue. But what is stopping people from going to court to stop Kina Ruto and company from breaking the law?
First is that there is nobody that is stopping anybody from court. But the problem is that we have a government that does not respect even the decision of the court.
No, wait. No, but I've seen the court. For example, it stopped him from using the other bill, the 2023 bill, and he stopped. He's not using it. I've seen the court actually stopping the president from doing a couple of things, and he's had to go by those whatever he's been stopped from doing.
Yeah.
So we can't say the reason why we're not going to court is because the president doesn't respect the judicial system.
Yes,
I don't think that is true. So I'm asking you, what is stopping? Why do you think? What, apart from that reason you're giving me, what is stopping people from going to court to stop him from breaking the law?
You are very right. I will answer you this way. Even as you are speaking now, maybe later Wakili Ndegwa Njiru will be on this platform. I will try to bring him, and you will hear. Even as we are talking now, there are some. The case has been taken to court, and we are still waiting for the verdict of the court. So the lawyers.
Which case exactly?
Yeah?
Which case exactly has been taken to court?
This one for Oparanya.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
It is ongoing, and later we'll hear. First, I want to commend the LSK. LSK have been in the forefront, trying also to do legal battles. But to answer your question, that this government have been respecting the court orders. I want to tell you that they choose which orders to respect and which orders not to. Like, for example, the issue of CAS. Do you know it was until after the protest, Ruto had put them on standby, even after the court had pronounced themselves. We even have the issue of CDF, that the court pronounced it to be illegal and constitutional, but they tried to taillight and take it through the back door. So there are a lot of things that the court pronounced themselves, but it is not respected. They are not respecting those court orders. So that is why, even as we are doing a legal battle, we must also do the social, pressure for this government. And as long as this political elite, political regime is there, nothing can be achieved in this country. So that is why I was answering the person that was telling me about Oparanya and Odinga. If Odinga, in ODM, there are millions of Kenyans, about 8 million, 10 millions, who are members of ODM, people who are qualified more than Oparanya, to do the job that Oparanya can do. Why should you bring somebody that is of a questionable character, even in the first place, if you have a goodwill?
Yes, you know what is happening.
So, sorry, let me ask you, had Odera spoken?
Odero hasn't spoken. I haven't spoken. Only Fabish and
Is that so, Tom?
Resp has spoken. I haven't also spoken.
Okay, then proceed. And Odera, are you there? Or do we drop you?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, fine. You can speak after Tommy.
Thank you very much, Munyamwezi, for this opportunity. I just want to appreciate.
This is Mariam. Munyamwezi is the gentleman.
Oh, sorry. Miriam, thank you for this opportunity. I want to articulate a few points. We have achieved a lot. As the question is, has Nane Nane achieved? Nane Nane has achieved what? I want to say we have achieved a lot, but where we're moving, ndio kuna giza. Where we're heading to, kuna giza. Why kuna giza? I want to say one thing or two. Number one, where we have reached at this moment, we need to have leaders. Why do I say that? We need to have leaders, and the leaders should not be physical leaders. We should have leaders, but on the space. This thing will be achieved, and our goal for Ruto Must Go will be achieved when we do everything on the space openly. No one should sit in a room or in a table, on the table, wapewe kitu kidogo, wanyamaze. We should be doing this thing on the space as it has been for the last 6 weeks. We have achieved a lot, but now ni kama tumeonyesha adui wetu kila kitu. So ako
subiri kidogo.
Ako very ready to attack.
Kidogo Tommy, unanisikia?
Yes, please.
Umesema your goal is Ruto Must Go.
Yeah.
Did I hear you right?
Yes, please.
So what does Ruto Must Go mean to you? Is it possible for you to interpret that? Is it a slogan now, or what is it? Just can you break it down for us? What does Ruto Must Go mean?
Ruto must go. We need to bring back our country. We need to see good governance, free corruption country, a country where anyone who has maybe kama umesomea kitu, you can get job for that, what you have learned for. We don't want a country, mimi kwa sababu niko na say in the government, I can bring my nephew or my niece or my niece to any position kama hajasomea. This is what is happening right now.
Okay, good. Wait. So did this happen in the Uhuru, the problems you've just stated or highlighted? Did you have the same problem during Uhuru?
It has happened.
The 10 years of Uhuru?
Yeah, it has been happening. Now we want to bring back.
Did we have the same problem during the Kibaki regime?
This has been happening. That's what I meant.
Okay, good. So if it's been happening, then how does Ruto going help us? How will it change anything? If it has happened during Uhuru, if it has happened during Kibaki, if it happened during Moi, how does removing...
This is a different generation.
Ruto.
This is a different generation, very learned, digital generation. We know what is happening everywhere, in every corner of this country. So what we had ile kitu tunataka for this moment ni ku bring back the country. Why do I say so? Why do we say so? The government imejitolea na ikatoka in open kwa wananchi ikasema 2 billion have been being stolen every day in this country. We want to bring back people who can ziba the mianya. That's where we're heading to. But we cannot.
Sasa, lakini swali langu sasa, and it's good you're taking me home, Tommy, because my problem is this. Unasema tulete watu ambao wataziba hiyo mianya. I don't know whether mwanya has a plural to being mianya. So is it the people wenye wanaziba ama ni system yetu, like the policies and whatnot that will help us to ziba those mwanyas?
The policy, na Ruto hataki kufuata the policy.
But are the policies in place? That do you have strict policies?
We have very nice places, very strict and nice policies. But the government, those people are on power this moment, they think they are above the laws. That's the problem. If there is a court order, these people can't follow the court orders. They can do their own things.
Imagine, Tommy, let me ask you, because we are still on the policies part. Imagine if EACC, okay?
Yeah.
ethics, that's an anti-corruption body in the country. If EACC can speak of a candidate not being what do you say?
Eligible.
They're not supposed to, what's the word? They're not eligible, yes, to go for vetting. And yet there's another law or a policy that actually allows that person to go, and another body can challenge EACC. Then do you think that we have strict policies?
I think, Miriam, we only have one rule. Only one rule. If it says this candidate is eligible to sit for this seat, that's what we should follow. We don't have a rule ya kusema there's this body says we can vet this guy and there's this rule we cannot vet. If the rule says we can't vet and you follow this rule, we can't vet. But because some people are there sitting,
No. Let me tell you, in my opinion, and I'm really sorry, Tommy, just because I want to have a conversation with you. Let me tell you where I think our problem is. I think we do not have watertight policies. We do not have policies that are strict enough, or policies that don't have those loopholes that allow these people to break them or to break the law.
Miriam, I'm very sorry.
And I think before we change, to me, and I'm going to allow you to now speak without me interrupting. To me, the reason why I do have a problem with us being very fast in wanting to change the regime, or to remove the president, is because the next one who comes in will still have these same loopholes that they can actually exploit. And what we can all agree with, Tommy, is that when it comes to corruption, and I had Pangakali, I think, speaking of the same, we do have a cultural problem. We have to admit that.
Okay.
We have to admit that there's a cultural problem.
Okay.
That we have to fight. So if you bring that monkey to that forest, then that monkey will definitely eat those bananas.
Okay.
Unaelewa? But proceed. I won't interrupt you.
From my understanding, we only have dictators who think they are above the laws. We have very strict laws, very nice laws. If they are followed, this country will be the first world country in the world. But the only problem we have a very nice 2010 constitutional. Iko very strictly to the points. But the only problem ni watu wanafikiria wako above the law. Wako in 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1999, whatever they think they are. They should understand that the constitution is changed. No one is above the law. The president was above the law during those years, current years. But with these people think because they have money, they are billionaires, they can say whatever they want to say and inafuatwa. We are on under the laws. They should follow the laws. Very strict and simple, Miriam. Very simple. If a candidate doesn't fit to be vetted, let it be, it doesn't fit to be vetted because he is corrupted. He has a case to answer. It's very simple. Why do we have to bring other corner or this law has a loophole? Why do we have to say that? If Oparanya has a case to answer and is not supposed to be vetted, let it be straightforward. Bado tuko huko nyuma, mtu anatoa pesa, anaenda anahonga EACC, anaenda anahonga DPP, inampea go ahead. Guys, this is the only things we are crying for. We should be a rule of law abidance. And it should be that way. That is the only problem we have. Na sijui kama tutawai pata kiongozi mwenye atakuwa anafuata sheria venye iko. Cause kama Ruto himself angekuwa anafuata sheria na kuheshimu mahakama, tungekuwa tuko mbali. But ni kwa sababu mahakama ikitoa judgment, ikiwa ina favor the government, inaendelea. Ikiwa haifavor government inafanya venye inataka. That's where the problem is. Yani government iko na authority ya kujirani kivyake, and the judiciary inatoa sheria, ina guide the government, but the government cannot follow the rule of law. That is where the problem is. And that's where the Gen Zs are fighting for. Thank you, Miriam.
Tommy, are you Kevin?
Yeah.
Tommy, are you Kevin?
Pangakali, just give me a moment, Pangakali. Odera has been waiting for such a long time. Let Odera speak, then you can come in.
Yes, thank you very much. It is such a good conversation to have at this moment. So first, just to relate with what Gen Z's actually achieved or what Nane Nane has achieved, I would say that it has really achieved a lot. First, challenging the status quo, having the society and the leaders at large identify that there is a voice that is more greater than their offices. I think that is very important to me. And that means that we can actually achieve it much better if and when we harness the power that we have actually exercised. Now, even when we have achieved all this, I would really just want us to also understand that when you get to a level when you realize that you have a lot of powers, but you do not really know how to manage and to control it. And this is even why people go to school. This is even why people get mentors and trainers, because we are potentially very powerful. But until we channel our powers into the right direction, then the power will be very, very useless. Now, I want to bring us to the acknowledgement of Article 1 of the Constitution. And I also want to agree with Pangakali and somebody known as PL, RESCPL. They really talked to what I really think would be the issue. Our problem is quite systematic. And just driving you into Article 1, what the Gen Zs have actually done is to exercise Article 1. But what is crazy, or rather what is interesting, is that they only get it to the level when they say the people shall. But there is nobody really want to explore it even further to understand that the people shall, but only according to the Constitution. It is not shall in vacuum. So when we talk about the people shall, and we get to the level of going further and reading the level where it is written that according to the Constitution, then wherever we want to act or do anything that we want to do, then we have to invoke other articles of the Constitution that also talks of the very activity or taking that you are taking. So when we talk about Ruto must go, like you asked somebody there what Ruto must go means, I relate what he's saying. He really believes that Ruto is the main issue, or rather the person who really do not want to implement the Constitution as it is. But now, if you all agree that that is the case, then how do we get him out? Article 146, 144, and 145 clearly states that, because even when we say that the people shall, that is not the end of the statement. The people shall according to the Constitution of Kenya. So when we get further into really knowing, understanding how we can actually remove the president, then have we tried that, or rather, can we also explore that? Because again, even when, like Miriam is rightly opining that our issue is lack of stringent laws that specifically states what need to be done, how, and strict adherence to the law. Then if we realize that it is only the Article 1 that has got issues, then how do we now challenge Article 1 to make it better, so that next time when we talk about the people shall, and continue to actually read it in tandem with other parts of the Constitution, it is fully implemented so that we get the desired results as a people. Now, moving forward, I strongly believe that civic education, as we talk about the grassroots, really do not, to me, the people on the ground really are not the issue. It is the elite who can actually get bundles and get into spaces and speaking good English that are the issue. It is us here who keep on sharing information that we misinform for the benefit of for our own interest. It is us who needs this education. It is us who need this civic education, and it is us that, if we are to agree on a point, and that's why I'm strongly agreeing with the people who are supporting leadership. If we are to agree that we need to have leadership, then we have to know, according to how Miriam is also relating, that we have to structure and give laws and rules that are very stringent in solving a particular social misbehavior. Then that is what we really should be pursuing to the latter. But if and when everybody thinks that they really have points and kila mtu, we have our feelings placed all over, and then we start now attacking personalities without really also acknowledging that these personalities have built their political career over time, and they have got following, and they have got the ability of the awareness, their power, and they have got that power that they can actually use against us, then we are also living in some sort of an illusion. So if we choose to play a political game, then how are we strategically placed to play this political game? And one of the things that I think Mr. Pihel actually highlighted, how do we make people our allies? How do we get our friends? We might not fully agree with them, but then at what point will we part ways, so that we don't just attack everybody, even those who really have something that we can take for a shorter time? Because again, this is not sprint. This is a journey that we started that will only be won by people who are able to focus and strategically fight on a daily basis moving forward. So to me, I think Article 1, we need to all focus there, review it, and look at it, and do not only try to interpret it to suit us, but actually interpret it in tandem with the rest of the articles of the Constitution, so that we can achieve really what we desire as a people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Odera. That was worth it after the wait. And I agree with a lot of things, a lot of the things that you say. Pangakali, do you want to jump in? Pangakali or George?
I'm saying, just getting out of the streets and just walking and shouting, making all this noise ain't gonna make nothing. Real work is done in the government, inside the government. And what everybody's alluding, these Jay-Z's, they don't want to be inside the government. They want to point finger outside the government, from outside to the government. But when you tell them get inside and do the work that you want from outside, nobody's there. Yet they claim they are the most learned, most technological advanced and whatever, savvy and all that. The real work, they don't want to do the real work. I always say, they have to open these parastatals. They have to open these systems. Slice, dissect, make it perfect. Maybe with your technologies, the technology that we have. Scrap these things. And then we start building on top of these systems. Even South Korea, when the internet in the 2000s, they say they ain't gonna put the lines for telephones. They say they want to put the internet. Now, if you check their population, 98% they have internet. These are the systems that everybody should be working on for a better future. But nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about the head. If you take the head off, what's going to happen? You think we're going to change the mindsets of all 60 million Kenyans? That don't work that way. In fact, I'll put it like this: the sack of tomatoes, all of it is rotten, and if you put a good tomato on top of it, I'm telling you that tomato gonna be rotten too. So meaning the whole sack is the whole Kenyan. If you're all corrupt, maybe I should go the George way, kill all Kenyans and start afresh. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Ndovu. We've been having this whole debate whether it's the people who are the problem or What is the system according to you, please, Panga? Would you mind telling me before George jumps in? When we say that we need to change the system, what does it mean to you?
See, governments are run by systems. The system of police, from the top to the bottom, that's the system. The payroll, how they run, the administration, the chain of command, what they receive, the salary, pensions, and all that. Reform all that. That's one. I'm just talking to one. I come on the retirement side. The same thing from the top, how they get it, the money all the way to the recipients. If I talk another system, the taxpayer system, the KRA, from the top to the bottom. Okay, if I talk about transportation, we talk about licensing, how they issue license, how they register, how they put data, how they do, information of people. We need a system that works in there like that. If you come for IDs.
So the system to you is the how, not the people. Am I getting that right?
No. Yeah, the system run people. But the people make the system work. Both of them work together. One cannot work with the other one. But the problem is, the people see the system is not working, but they don't want to fix it. They just want to go for the leaders. But the problem is in the people. The people who are contributing to the system. How are the people? People are corrupt. People are tribal. All these things. People are not honest. I don't know about work ethics. I've not worked in Kenya, so I don't know. My parents work in Kenya. I know they have work ethics. From them, I can tell, work ethics is there. And then another thing, Gen Zs are crying so much for the government to do something for them. Me, I don't know. Government don't do shit for people. You gotta do your own thing for yourself. Government will make policies that make your thing work. If those policies don't favor you, probably you're in the wrong business. You can't just hold government to employ people. I've heard people out here, I'm getting out of a university, I don't have a job, so I should cry for the government not to, to give me a job or something. A lot of people think the government is their solution. The government is not their solution. You are the solution. You are just a small piece in the government. So we add everybody in Kenya, it's 1, 1, 1, 1. We make a Kenyan government, or Kenya. Mm-hmm. And then the system that cover everybody, that's the system called the Kenyan government. So the system is us. We have to build our own system for us, to benefit us. We can borrow from everybody. We can borrow from outside and just bring it in. But the system has to be unique for us. I can't just take a copy of American cops and plaster it in Kenya. The American system cop is not for Kenya. Everybody wants that, but that's not for you. That's it, Mary. I'm done.
Thank you, Ndovu. I'm hoping you've put some more perspective in that discussion for the people who keep crying about the people not paying attention to what system really means. Thanks a lot, Ndovu.
Mariam, can I say something?
Hi, George.
Before I drop?
Is it possible for us to allow George to speak if he's available?
No, they can go ahead. They can go ahead and talk.
Okay. Yes, Tommy.
Thank you, Miriam and George, for the opportunity. I just want to say one thing. We have achieved a lot, but we have failed today because of one thing from my own perspective. Number one, we have been out there a lot to expose ourselves to the government. They know what we're doing. They know what we're planning. They know everything about us. and we're not planning it well. So what I was suggesting, if we are planning for this thing should be planned very well and make sure if we want to achieve it, ikuwe na mipango ya kiukweli. Number one thing, if it's possible, I'm not advocating for anything. I'm not advocating to become any of the leaders. I'm advocating, if it's possible, if we can have a leader or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, a group of people who can be speaking on our behalf, this thing is very achievable. Another thing, if this thing...
Tell me,
Yes.
What thing is achievable? What is this? What is this thing?
What we are planning...
Is it the Ruto must go?
Yes.
Is it removing Ruto still?
The movement. Ruto must go. That's what we are. That's our plan for today, and it was not achieved because we didn't have good plans.
But
We exposed ourselves to the government.
Tommy, I think the problem with this particular movement is that you're not reading the mood kwa ground. I mean, for you to be able to forcefully remove a president in the manner that you want to, which is literally walking to the State House to remove him, do you know how angry Mwananchi has to be? Do you know how angry guys have to be for you to be able to pull that? When you walk kwa ground, are you in Kenya?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not in Kenya, Tommy.
I am.
The last time you told us you're not in Kenya.
Have I spoken to you, Miriam?
Are you back in Kenya now?
I'm in Kenya for maandamano today. I was in the ground.
But you were not in Kenya earlier, so I'm right, because I remember we had a conversation.
Miriam.
So the thing is this, me now, Naive, okay, well, this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I think many people who are pushing for this Ruto must go, I think they're not on the ground to actually read the mood of the people. People are not angry qua ground enough for them to get Ruto out of State House.
Miriam.
They do not have a reason enough to do it.
What do you want us to do?
I don't know which mood you guys are reading. Forget about the mood on the social media. That is a totally different mood. But qua ground, vitu ni different, bana. I don't know who else is going to speak on this from the ground. People are not angry. He's not done anything that is so unique from the other regimes or something that is so outrageous for people to be angry enough to march to State House.
Have you Miriam surrendered for that? Have you surrendered?
What do you mean, have I surrendered?
Who may give up to achana na hii Ruto must go? That's what I'm asking.
No. To me,
what's your point?
Listen, and that's why I've been saying, to me, what does Ruto must go mean? Because to me, it means that we need to fix the systems. In my opinion, what I would try to do by pushing the hashtag Ruto must go is to twist him.
Yeah.
Okay. To put good policies in place, which will enable the next government or his government to run the country without being corrupt, without being wasteful, there are things that I need him to do. There are policies I need him to enact for us to be in a better place today. To me, that's what Ruto must go means. It just means pushing him to a place that he would be willing to act in favor of the Mwananchi.
Can I ask you something?
But it doesn't mean that literally removing him from that seat, because I am guaranteed that the next person would be probably worse than him. But you can ask.
Are you focusing on 2027? Because that's from what you have spoke. I can see you are focusing on 2027. Ruto cannot go.
My agenda is to make him a one-term president if possible. So yes, my focus is on 2027.
Thank you. We are not focusing on that, Miriam. We are focusing on removing Ruto from the seat this moment. But let me tell you why we cannot achieve that. It's because we're exposing ourselves more than what we are doing. That's my point. We're exposing ourselves more than what we are doing. Do you hear my point? I'm saying, if we want to remove Ruto from the seat, we should not say we meet at the CBD. We don't have to meet at the CBD. What do you mean by CBD? If I say, let's meet at the CBD, unaelewa nini? This minute. CBD is 1,000.
But Tommy, ndo maana nakuuliza sasa, do you know what it takes to do what you're saying? Do you know what kind of numbers you need? Do you know what kind of machinery you need for you to pull what you're talking about right now? I think you're not understanding what you really need for you to be able to achieve what you're talking about.
For the last 2 weeks, tumekuwa tukipush hiyo kitu na haijawahi kwa sababu tumekuwa expose. We don't have to expose ourselves.
Apana. Haijawahi kwa sababu people are not angry enough. He has not done anything that has made people angry enough for them to do that. Remember, parliament was possible. Okay, even though your plans were in the open, it was possible because people were angry because of the finance bill. So you had the numbers. Mwananchi needs to be angry enough. People need to have collective anger for you to be able to push that. Really, that's why I'm feeling like this is a very delusional plan for me from where I'm looking at it from. I think the people who are pushing this agenda are not reading the mood. Yes, Tommy. Okay, Tommy Ren. So let's see. Oh, she's coming back. Is she? He's coming back, I guess. Let's do Brian, Nothing, and then Duncan.
To my mic. Miriam, is there?
Oh, you just dropped.
Yeah, people are very hungry, but ile kitu watu wanakosa ni good plan and strategic. Let me assure you, people are very hungry and people are very disappointed on everything is happening. Actually, we told the president to dissolve the cabinet. He did the same. But what are the outcomes? Alileta the same people. 12 people being brought back is 75% of the cabinet. People are very hungry, but hawana ile mipango ya kiukweli, ya kiusawa, ya kujipanga vizuri. That's where the problem is. Can we bring a civil education ya kujua venye tuta deal with this government? Is it possible we plan it good? Not, unajua watu tukiendelea kujipanga. Let me tell you, Miriam, at this moment as we are speaking, I don't know if yourself, a lot of NCR government people are here. Listen to what we are saying. Wanatusikiza venye tunasema, wanatusikiza venye tunaongea. Tukishatumaliza, they have notes, they're going to sit down and plan for themselves. Get ready for us. Imagine unaambia adui yako, nitakuja na hii njia. Niambie, seriously. That guy will be very much ready. What happened today? Did you see what happened today? Hata kama watu wako wawili, watatu, wanne, watano, hawana any issue na maandamano, they're being tear gassed. Crazy. Government inaendelea na their business as usual. Ministers have been sworn bila shida, hata ni kama hakuna kitu inaendelea. 100%. Hiyo kitu ndio imenishangaza. Sijui kama umeona hiyo kitu. So, hatuna mipango ya kiukweli, ya kiusawa. Tunajiongelea tu hapa social media, ya kiujinga. That's why nimesema, kama it's possible, we should have leaders, but leaders wasikue physical, wakue kwa social media. Tujue, hawa leaders wanatuongoza, lakini kila kitu inafanyika, hata kama wanaenda meeting na president, inafanyika social media, isifanyike kwa table. Na lazima tukue na leaders, hii kitu imove. That's my point. Hata tukiendelea kusema we are leaderless, we are faceless, tribeless, hatuendi mahali. Government ishatusoma, imejituelewa, imetujua, na imejipanga. I want to tell you this thing. So, kama tunataka vizuri, tukue na leaders, wakue wa social media. Walete order in social media. Minutes in social media. Waseme tutamit with the president in social media. Na tujue whatever is happening, or everyone is understanding what is happening. That's my point. We can move forward. But tukisema tutakuwa leaderless, tutakuwa faceless, tutakuwa whatever, less, hatuendi mahali. Government ishatusoma, ishatuelewa, ishatujua, na that's why it doesn't care. President is there doing fucking meetings, moving around recklessly, saying whatever he wants to say. Kiujeuri, ego, a very ego person, as he was there yesterday in Mlima Kenya, whatever he did. Bila kujali hakuna kitu inaendelea. Aka-announce leo his program was 9 a.m. mawaziri wanakuwa sworn in. Nyinyi muandamane, mfanye nini? Wametuelewa na wamefunga njia zote. Guys, let's rethink of this thing if we want to succeed. I want to tell you, let's rethink. This thing is doable. it will be successful, but we should rethink of it again. Miriam, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. I feel the pain in your voice. I know you really, really want change. And I agree with you. You cannot plan mbele ya adui wako alafu you expect to come out winning. I mean, unless your enemy is very toothless. But Ruto is not one of those.
100%.
But I do agree with you, Tommy. Yeah. George, are you ready, or do we go to Brian?
Oh, I've been ready the
I thought you had given me the mic.
I am worried if I speak, nobody will want to speak after me because I will have dropped the fat bomb on everybody. So let the victimhood continue for a while, Marion.
Can I speak?
I think Brian can come. Brian can handle whatever you have to say. Who is this speaking with a lady voice?
No,
I'm not seeing. Oh, nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
But nothing. I had said it's Brian, and then you, and then Duncan.
Actually, you had given me a chance after the gentleman who spoke.
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, nothing.
Okay.
Then go ahead, nothing.
Allow me. First of all, I salute the ones we have lost, the wounded, and us. And the former speaker has really expressed the pain that we are all going through. So for someone to say that we are not angry enough, I think it's offensive. And as I continue to spend time in spaces, what is getting clearer?
Mariam, is everything okay?
Yeah, there's someone who's speaking, Munyamwezi. You can't hear her?
Oh, I can't hear, but let her go on.
Okay.
Okay. So as I was saying, as I've been in different spaces, what is coming out clearly is that the spaces have been beneficial for a lot of people to learn. And there's also a lot of deception. And I pray against everything that deception does not win, because that's what we are running away from. To say that Gen Zs expect the president to give them a job is offensive. They've said time without number. They want a good working environment. Do you guys understand where they come from when they decided to take him head on this issue of employment? Is that there were companies they were working for, and the president wanted them to be taxed, and the company actually pulled out. It was a German company. They pulled out of Kenya because they were making, I think, around 20,000 a week, but they wanted to see how that money could be taxed. The kind of work Gen Zs want is not your daily job, is not what people do in offices. They have brilliant ideas, and if people care to give them an opportunity, then they would understand that they actually know what they want. So let's not belittle them just because they're younger. On the issue of policies, I think people have this illusion that we actually do not understand the government. The government have systems, but it's the people who are not interested in implementing the system. They're not interested in following the law. Even the corruption you hear us talking about, it is a drop in the ocean of the kind of corruption that happens in this country. The only reason why some cases come up and others don't is because the ones that come up is where someone is shortchanged. Does it mean everybody in government is corrupt? No. It's just that bad stories sell more than good stories. There are people who have worked in government and they have work ethics. They are willing to help any stranger who walks in the room. I'm saying this with conviction because I'm very passionate about unemployment, and I've been through those offices. I can tell a story, but that is not my point. I'm not interested in telling stories. I have tried to understand, why is it impossible for some people to do the right thing? And out of it, I'm going to tell you what actually happens. Because you don't just impose yourself in an office. You try to book to follow the due process. But after you follow the due process, people will try and tire you by taking you round in circle. But once in a while, God opens a door and you get someone to educate you. So this country has policies that work. We have people who are not interested. They are not interested. And the motive is to keep the poor poorer and the rich richer. If you hear the kind of money we lose in this country in a day, I don't even see why people should complain when someone has a net worth of 200 million. I believe with everything that is in me, and I have traveled. This is the best country you can ever make money in and thrive. It's just that the kind of money we make in Kenya, it doesn't give you value. You don't get value for your money. If you walk into a supermarket with 1,000 shillings, what do you walk out with? Nothing. And that's why my handle says nothing KE, because you ask a lot of people, what are you doing? They tell you nothing. And my intention is to take that nothing into something. So there's a lot we can do in this country. Am I just bluffing? No. Have I done something for myself to show for it? Yes. I've grown up in a business family, and I know these things are doable. Am I interested in doing it for myself? No. I've talked to Kenyans. Kenyans walk around looking at opportunity, but because you're so fixated on where you're going with your life, what you can do to change this country. So it is wrong for people in diaspora to come and talk to us as though we are looking up to this government to do stuff for us. If it's about taxation, it's triple taxation. There's what, if you do business, there's the 30% VAT. Again, you pay VAT when you go to the supermarket to pay for the same item. You pay corporate tax on profit of 30%, and they wanted to take that a notch high. So we understand what is going on. So when we say no, we're not saying no because we are out to fight. That's why we say it doesn't matter who's in government. We need a government that is able to serve its people. If it's these people abroad, they should tell you. For example, in China, for you to get space to run a shop, it's very difficult. But these people come into our country and they can do anything. Abroad, you cannot work without work permit. Well, you can, but you keep running around. In Kenya, if the foreigners in this country paid for work permit, it would reduce the burden on us on taxes. But instead, Kenyans are denied opportunity. Even jobs that a Kenyan can do are being done by foreigners. Yet in their country, those things cannot suffice. But because even when you hear the West talking for business is the best place to be, they're simply saying Kenya is open for plunder. A majority of Kenyans have better quality education than even people who come to work at the United Nations, because the motive is not for Kenyans to benefit, it's to keep them poor. That is why they have a problem that finally we are woke. We understand what happens in the country. We understand the resources we have and how that can be used. What we need in this country is to be able to industrialize. How do we do that? We need cheap electricity. What's the cost of electricity in Kenya? They say if you start a business, 90% of businesses fail within the first year. Why? Because the costs are very high. There's what you need to pay to the county government. There's what you need to pay to the national government. So process after process. Yes, we understand that initially when you invest, you don't reap profit immediately. But now the way they are coming around it, ask people who are running businesses. You have a license for a particular shop and they want to segment it further and tell you for beauty product, you need to have a different licenses. If it's fire licenses, how many businesses go up in fire and the fire engines don't turn up in time, yet they have to force you to pay for those licenses. And in the event you don't pay, they come and harass you like a hooligan. So we know what we want from this government. We want service delivery. Is it happening? No. Can it happen? Yes. People wake up to offices, but they are not interested in working for Kenyans. And that is why Kenyans are jaded. That is the gap between them. And then they're used to a community of our parents who never, whatever happened, they swallowed it. All they wanted was peace. Why did they allow that? My father said it's over and over again. If your children ever ask you what happened, say our parents allowed it. Why? It's because people didn't speak up. My grandmother explained the reason why they didn't speak up. They came with a lot of trauma from colonial government. That is why our parents have raised us saying, I'm going to give you a better life than my parents gave them. not because their parents didn't have a life. But people need to understand the role of trauma in upbringing and getting things done. In Kenya today, everybody, we were also raised by people who, luckily not for me, a lot of people are told that unless you know someone, you don't need to know anyone to get a service delivered. If Kenyans are crazy to demand services, where are we getting IDs that can expire after 10 years? The way my passport expired, does it mean that I need to justify I'm a citizen of this country? We need dignity for Kenyans. That one we are not going to ask for politely. Our forefathers paid a heavy price for us to be free. This country has enough. It is possible for every Kenyan to live a comfortable life without the struggle we see on a daily basis. But we've completely turned a deaf ear to the needy in the society. Just because you can afford a thing or two does not mean you shouldn't care for your own. And we cannot afford to lose that fabric of our culture where we take care of ourselves. If we allow this madness to continue, the homelessness that is going to face Africa is going to be out of, it will be unimaginable. Why are we discussing that we need to be licensed to be farmers? So when Kenyans when we raise our voices, we know exactly what is not working. Where does America want to sell their excess milk in Kenya? So when we say the things Kenya young people can do, and maybe it's the social circle you guys hang around with, they're young people who are brilliant and are doing well. And they're willing to even do more for their own brothers and sisters, and I mean fellow Kenyans. So it is wrong. So when you're bringing the issue of party, there was a space for Wasingishu. They are saying we don't even need a party. We need a party. We just need two parties in Kenya, which are based on what you believe in. Like we have Republican and Democrats. So it's not, we are not short of parties. If it's the former president, he never even had a political party. He bought it from Sakaja. That is when they were trying to make sure Sakaja doesn't run for Nairobi governor. Sakaja said, I helped you, and that's how he backed down. So we are not short of political party. People want people to vote on a political party so that they can knock on doors and say, hey, can we do this? We don't need to, they keep saying, we don't need to sit with the president to get services done. It can happen. He just needs to be willing. When he says, I'm going to, do we need a meeting for people in Turkana to get better schools and other rural areas? I went to good school. I'm a villager. I know the plight of children who study under a tree. So the Kenya we want, it's not an imaginary Kenya. How long can it take to build school? Less than 3 months. Have good infrastructure, but it's not worth $1 billion. So we need to that's why we're interrogating the budget. When they say that this particular education, this year we have budgeted 300 billion, I need someone to go to break it down for me. If not, give me that money and I will build for you schools and be accountable. Am I looking for a job in government? Heck no. I've said if I was to come on board, I'd come in as a consultant. I have understood this country. I wrote to governors across the breadth and length of this nation. I have G4S receipts to show for it. They are not interested. 3 months is all it took for Obado to become a billionaire. So do not offend, even if they don't understand, it's not quite clear in their head. Don't come and step on them. Allow them to fall their way forward until we figure out how this can be fixed. Do they know what they need to do? Yes. Where is IMF interfering with the country? It's because they need to plunder this nation. The budget lady said that we paid 1.3 billion on interest of a loan that we have not even taken. So do we need a political party as young people? Do we need to be in government to get some things going on right now? Other people, if you don't understand, say simply, guys, exactly what brings you here to the space today? Just because most of us are lying low does not mean we don't know what we want as a nation. I have worked in enough offices. I can tell you for a fact, there is no goodwill. I finished my exams today. That's why you've never seen me push for protest, because I've not been on the ground. When protests have been on Tuesday and Thursdays, on those days our classes would be transitioned to online. If it's UN, I've been to a school where they give us a heads up on how to apply for those jobs. So I know, and I'm not even interested in the job. They put us through even before you graduate.
Nothing. At the risk
So-
of you seeming like you're ranting, maybe you need to allow someone to engage you so that we don't lose some of the points that you've already put out. Is that okay?
No, and the only reason, I'm usually very polite, I just felt really bad that there's a Kenyan who will go hungry, but when they voice they raise their voices, someone says, oh, this Gen Zs, they don't want to do the work. We want to do the work, and we know exactly what is supposed to be done. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Nothing. George, you wanted to respond. I saw your hand shoot up.
No, I'm just curious. This lady is asking so many questions. So I'm just curious how honest she is to answer a few of those questions herself. You said your father gave you a better life than your grandfather gave him. How did he do that?
I think I was very polite on that. I said it doesn't mean that they came.
That's
they
not
did
the
not
question
come
I
from
asked you.
something. Hard work. But that time, and I said hard work.
What does that mean?
What part of hard work do I need to explain?
Where did they work?
No, well, my parents have now been employed by government.
That's what I'm asking. What do they do?
They've been farmers.
Okay.
They've been farmers, and from farming they went into real estate. So we understand the budget.
No. Don't answer the
even
question. We are going to stay right there. We are not going anywhere. You see how quickly this one dissipates. So your grandfather left them with big chunks of land,
which my father did not inherit. He worked to get what he needed.
How did he buy them?
I said hard work.
Hard work. Is there any lazy person in Kenya?
Yeah.
I mean, what is this formula called hard work that is not equivalent to my own mason or my own plumber?
Allow me.
Or my own farm manager.
Allow me to explain. Allow me to explain this to you. Farmers used to make the most money in this country.
This?
We got seedling. I grew up watching them farm.
What were they growing?
We're not going to get into nitty-gritties. Let me tell you about
there you have
about
it, ladies and gentlemen. There is no sincerity in what we are doing. This one is just a victim of everything she can put her hands on. She says she has written letters to all the governors, and she has the forged certified mail delivery receipts to show for it. She said she went to international schools where the UN was recruiting them on how to apply for jobs. And then she said, I was not interested in those jobs. So who the fuck are you?
Interested.
Which side are you on?
Let me ask you.
You were tutored on how to apply for these jobs, and then you back off at the table because you were never interested in the jobs. So what is your victimhood? Pick one.
I do not have a victimhood, and I'm raised in a respectful way.
So what is your pain now?
I'm shocked that you can actually use an F word on me. Now, let me tell you.
What is your pain right now?
Don't be personal, George. Don't be personal.
My pain is that this country is not heading in the right.
Everything is personal.
Don't be personal, please.
Everything is personal. Otherwise, we're going to sit here and amplify some phantom pain that she has never experienced, but she knows exists out there. And because of the title of the space, now we are here to amplify this phantom pain that we somehow should be feeling, but we don't. So what is
sounds like we are diverting this, George? Kindly.
Duncan,
allow me to answer you. Allow me to answer you. I did not grow up in a vacuum. I saw what happened in the community. Listen, I saw people who could
Which
sleep hungry,
people?
and they never allowed
People?
them to go
Which
hungry.
people?
They put them
Mariam,
through
please
the same
protect
school.
nothing so that she
George,
can
Oh
please,
answer.
no, one moment,
Please.
one moment. Duncan, if you interrupt this conversation
Duncan,
again,
mute,
one moment,
mute your
Mariam,
mic,
one
please.
moment, Mariam. If you interrupt this conversation again, I, George, NGA, I am going to drop you from this space.
drop out.
Oh, George,
Drop.
we are here
Are
to
we
discuss.
George, I'll tell you.
We are here to discuss.
George, I'll
We are
tell
here
you.
to discuss, and it will be your time. I'll come to you, and you explain your situation. Right now, I'm dealing with this young lady.
George, I'll tell you. I've been a student, but I work. That's why I'm not looking for to be
Okay.
employed
No,
by
when you
anybody.
introduced
And
one
for
moment,
that
one moment.
reason,
When you introduce a new one, we have to exhaust it. You've been a student. Now we are going to ask where. That's how this works.
that's not.
That
Is that
is how this
important?
works.
Let me tell you where you're coming from, George.
No, you tell me where
That
you're
is
coming
what.
from first. Then I'll tell you where I
Let
am
me
coming
tell
from.
you.
Do not speak for me.
Let me
Speak
tell you,
for
George.
yourself.
That is called poverty
No,
mentality. When you have no respect
You
for
went to
other
school
people,
where?
when you,
It
it doesn't
does
matter. How is that
matter.
going to help anybody?
It does.
It doesn't.
In Kenya, where you go to school determines your success level. And even your success speed.
I'll tell you for free.
Even the success speed, the rate at which you succeed is predicated on the school you go to. Even primary school itself.
I'll give
No, you
you
will
an
answer the
example.
question.
James
You will
Mwangi
answer the question.
Equity Bank.
You will answer
James
the
Mwangi
question.
Equity Bank
Where did you
was
go to
raised by
school?
his grandmother. I will
Then
not answer.
there is nothing
You
you are
will not
saying here.
understand me
There is
into
nothing you
that.
are saying.
Good for you. Good for you. But let me tell you,
A
Kenyan,
victimhood
the
that is
wealthiest
actually
people
yours.
in the
Let's talk
world.
about that victim.
The wealthiest people in the
we
world
are just
came
right.
from
Where
nothing.
did you go to
Do not
school?
be lied
That's where we are. We are not anywhere
Do
else.
not be lied
Forget about the
to.
people in the world.
You're not going
We
to
don't
bring
deal
me
with the people in the
into
world.
that.
We are talking about you.
You will
Where
not.
did you
You
go
will
to
not bring
school?
me into that. Have some dignity for yourself.
Miriam, can you put order for this motion? Miriam, please.
Who is speaking? The same warning applies to you. If you speak out of turn, I will kick you out of this space.
Let me save you the agony. I will drop out
There
of
you
this
have
space.
it. Phantom pain. You have phantom pain. You don't have real pain.
I don't. Don't
No,
talk
but
down on people.
let's agree. Let's agree on one thing.
The country is
Let's agree on one thing.
fine.
One thing. As you run away, you do not have any problem. You just go around, listen to other people's problems, and then you try to make it yours. And because of your good English, because of the school you went, you can now articulate that problem as if it was yours. But you started by saying your parents had big chunks of land which they developed into real estate. You have grown up with money. You have gone to international schools that have internship programs with United Nations systems that even teach you how to get jobs. And then when you get to the door, you say, "Oh no, I don't need a job." You said all those things.
I think, George, you have a big
Why don't you speak about yourself and then at the tail end of this conversation, I'll speak about myself. Do not speak for me. You don't know anything about me 5 minutes ago. So don't attempt to speak like you know me. I just know what you just said about yourself. That's what we are going by.
I'm simply trying to tell you,
do not
has
talk
real
about
issues,
this conversation.
And it's everybody's
No,
business
it's
to
individual. It's individual effort. That's why I wanted to singularize it to yourself. Tell us about your
No.
real pain. Which is it?
I want my fellow
No, there is no
Kenyans
fellow Kenyans here.
to get an
It's
equal
just me and you, my
opportunity.
phone and your phone. There is nobody else speaking. Just me and you.
Unfortunately, George, I don't know how to get to your level because I'm trying to elevate
I don't have a level.
conversation that you are absolutely not
And
interested
having grown how you grew up, you truly don't want my level.
Human dignity is all
What
the
does that
dignity you
mean?
need. It's
What
just the
does that
level you
mean?
need.
Human dignity. Now you're introducing new ones, and I warned you. Every time you introduce a new one, we discuss that new one. You said you went to good school. I asked you which school, you couldn't say. Now you have introduced a new one called human dignity. Expound on what is human dignity.
George, you're just a bully. You're
I
just
don't know.
a bully.
Those words don't mean anything to me. Those labels, I eat them for breakfast. Let me give you some other ones that you have not used yet, but you use them in the next 7 minutes. Misogynist, women hater, chauvinist. Those ones, I just ate them for dinner last night. Okay? So now I am a bully. Therefore, tell me, what does that mean? What does it mean to be human dignity? What is that term? What is human
Miriam,
dignity?
call for order. It is the conversation is becoming an orderly.
Call for order. Or this is the target.
No. George, you need to have the chorus.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a moment, George. Nothing.
No, I'm going to remove them from the speaker because they cannot speak. They cannot be quiet on their own.
Fuck off.
There you have it.
Fuck off.
There you have it. Who is next? Who else is fucking off? Hello? Let me see you.
George, you're the one who started using that language even before they started.
Your voice. Let me hear you.
You're the first one who used the F word. I didn't even use it on you, but that's
in 7
it was
minutes. You're going to have all the labels on me.
What is the objective? What is the goal for this space, so that we understand?